morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you for joining me. My grandchildren are here and one's playing Oculus, so I hope the noise in the background isn't going to be disturbing. But I recently saw a news article about a man who was snowboarding and went down a 100-foot cliff, ended up in a crevice with ice. Yeah, he was in a dire situation with no cell phone service. This app that is on many phones, maybe you should look into it. It's an emergency SOS that you can send via satellite by your iPhones. I thought this is perfect to add to the prepper list, emergency supply checklist. Yeah, this is amazing. And as of September 14th, this app remains completely free for all eligible iPhone users with no subscription fees or usage charges. So stick with me. Here's some more information about this feature that everyone should have. Emergency SOS Viva Satellite is a safety feature available on iPhone 14 and later models, including iPhone 15 and iPhone 16 series. It allows you to contact emergency services when you're in an area without cellular or Wi-Fi coverage, such as remote wilderness, mountains, or during natural disasters. The feature connects your iPhone directly to global star low Earth orbit satellites. There's about 24 satellites traveling around 16,000 miles per hour, which relay your distress signal to Apple's emergency relay centers. These centers then connect you to local emergency responders like 911 in the U.S. or equivalent services elsewhere. Here's a step-by-step breakdown of how it works. Initiating and connection. If you're in an emergency, you can quickly activate it by pressing and holding the side button with volume button on iPhone 14 or later until a slider appears. Then slide emergency SOS. Alternatively, open the message app, type a distress phase like SOS help, emergency, or send help, and follow the prompts to send Viva Satellite. Your iPhone will detect no cellular Wi-Fi and prompt you to use satellite. You need to be outdoors with a clear view of the sky. Point your iPhone towards the guided direction on screen. It uses your compass and shows a virtual reticle for alignment. Trees, buildings, or heavy foliage can interfere, so it works best in open areas. Sending the message. The iPhone sends a short encrypted text message with your location, Viva GPS, medical ID details if you set up a health app, and any additional info you provide about the emergency, such as type of injury and number of people. Transmission uses low band and short band frequency for low band communications. In ideal conditions, clear sky, it takes about 15 seconds per short message. With obstacles like light foliage, it can take 30 to 60 seconds or longer. You'll see a on-screen progress and instructions to hold still. Once sent, once sent, the satellite relays it to an Apple servers, which decrypt and forward it to the nearest emergency center. Responders may ask follow-up questions and you can continue texting back and forth. Additional features. Share location. After the initial SOS, you can share your real-time location with friends and families via the satellite. Another additional feature would be roadside assistance via satellite. Available in the U.S., partner with AAA. This lets you request help for car issues like flat tires or towing. It's separate, but users use the same satellite tech. Another additional feature is check-in. On iOS 17 Plus, you can set up a check-in in the Message app to notify contacts when you arrive safely, such as after a hike. And if you don't, it can trigger an SOS. Wow, that's so cool. Think about all the missing people that are in different national forests. Messages are end-to-end encrypted for privacy. The server supports multiple languages, including English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Dutch, and Portuguese. Here's the limitations. It is text only, no voice or video. Full satellite texting to non-emergency contacts isn't available yet, though Apple has hinted at expansions. Also, availability is limited to certain countries, such as the US, Canada, Australia, Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain, Switzerland, and the UK. For iOS 16.4 Plus, expanding the iOS 17 Plus, check Apple support site for your region. Now, this does require iOS 16.1 or later, iOS 17 Plus for more features. You can demo it in settings forward arrow emergency SOS a forward arrow. Try emergency SOS Viva Satellite if no coverage. This feature has already saved lives, like the fellow I said that was snowboarding. I believe it was California. I could be wrong. It has also rescued hikers in Italy's Apennine Mountains. And there was also a driver who went over a 400-foot cliff in Los Angeles. As I stated, as of today, Emergency SOS Viva Satellite remains completely free for all eligible iPhone users with no subscription fee or usage charges. For iPhone 14/14 Plus or 14 Pro or 14 Pro Max, originally free for 2 years from activation date, Apple extended this to one additional year in November of 2023, making it free until at least November 2026 for devices activated before that announcement. However, based on the latest updates, Apple has committed to keeping the core emergency service free indefinitely to avoid life-threatening scenarios where access could be denied due to a payment issue. This aligns with public pressure and stories of real rescues, positioning it as a key safety feature subsidized by Apple, similar to how emergency calls work without a carrier plan. For iPhone 15 and later models, including iPhone 16. For iPhone 15 and later models, including iPhone 16, free starting from device activation, with no announced end date or fees. Apple has emphasized this is a permanent, no-cost inclusion for safety. Roadside assistance Viva Satellite, US only. It is also free for the initial 2 years on iPhone 14 or 15 models. But after that, non-AAA members may face pay-per-use fee from AAA for services like towing, would be like a $89 per incident, depending on the help needed. Apple itself does not charge for the satellite connection part. Apple hasn't detailed post-free period plans for the core SOS feature, but experts and reports suggest it will stay free to maintain goodwill and avoid backlash. Unlike paid satellite services from competitors like Garmin, which require a subscription starting at $15 a month. If costs are introduced later, unlikely as of now, they would likely be minimal or opt-in for non-emergency uses. For the most current details, check Apple support page as available. It can evolve with the iOS updates. Evidently, this feature is not available for Samsung models. This is because it is a priority service developed by Apple in partnership with Global Star Satellites, integrated directly into iOS and the iPhone hardware. Samsung devices run on Android, and use different satellite partnerships and modems. So they can't access Apple's satellite network or the iOS Apple feature. However, Samsung has its own version of satellite emergency connectivity, which became available starting with the Galaxy S25 series released in early 2025. Here's the key details. Supported models. Only the Galaxy S25, S25 Plus, S25 Ultra, and the S25 Ultra FE as of September of this year. Older models like the Galaxy S24 series or the S23 do not support it, even though some have the hardware capability in settings, such as satellite network options, appear, but isn't functional yet. Future updates might enable it on the S24 Viva software, but it's not confirmed or active as of now. How it would work on the Samsung phones. Similar to Apple features, it allows you to send emergency text, share your location, and communicate with responders when there is no cellular or Wi-Fi signal. You activate it through the phone or emergency SOS app in one UI 7 or later, based on Android 15. The phone guides you to point it to the sky for a clear satellite connection using Snapdragon X80 model in partnership with Skylo. It supports texting via Google Messages. Samsung Messages may redirect it initially. Response times are quick, about 3 to 6 seconds per message in good conditions. Carriers and availability. Primarily available on Verizon and T-Mobile in the U.S. with Skylo integration for automatic provider selection. It's expanding to other carriers in other countries, but as of September of this year, it's mostly U.S. focused. You need to check your carrier support for the S25. Well, I changed from Verizon to Mint, which is an off branch for T-Mobile, so I'm going to have to check into that. See if Mint has that support for SOS satellite. Cost fee for the first 2 years after device activation, similar to Apple's models, with no usage fees for emergency. Post 2 year details are unclear, but it's expected to remain free or low cost for core SOS use. If you have a Samsung phone older than the S25, you'll need to upgrade to access the Samsung standard emergency SOS without satellite. It's available on most Galaxy devices. It sends alerts to contacts via cellular MMS, but won't work off-grid. Emergency SOS Viva satellite on prepaid phones. Here's that information. Apple's iPhone specific emergency SOS Viva satellite is not available on prepaid phones in general, as it requires an iPhone 14 or later, which isn't a prepaid phone. Prepaid typically refers to a budget, Android models, or carrier locked plans. However, interpreting this as an Android-based prepaid device, such as brands like TrackPhone, Straight Talk, or budget Samsung, Motorola models on prepaid phones. No, it's not available on prepaid phones. Satellite's SOS requires premium hardware, specific models like Snapdragon X80 or Exynos 5400, and software integration, which isn't found in budget or prepaid Android devices. For example, Google Satellite SOS is exclusive to the Pixel 9 series, such as Pixel 9, 9 Pro, 9 Pro XL, 9 Pro Fold, high-end flagship that aren't typically sold as prepaid options. Here's probably the answer for my Mint phone, my Mint service. No prepaid carriers such as Mint Mobile, Visible, or Cricket offer satellite SOS on their devices as of September 2025. Even if a prepaid phone has the hardware, the feature often depends on the carrier's partnership, like Verizon slash T-Mobile for Samsung, which prepaid plans may not include. I'm still going to call them and find out because, yeah, I changed over. Like I said, I changed over from Verizon because their bills were getting outrageously high. It started out maybe about $50 a month. And then when I finally canceled them, it was $100 a month for one line for Verizon, where Mint, I'm only paying $15 a month, but I prepaid for 3 months at a time. So I'm going to call them and find out. It may be, if it isn't available, it may be like a push for Mint to add that to their service because they're snatching up so many new contracts, new users that are switching over like me from Verizon. I was with Verizon for like 18 years, but I'm not going to pay $100 a month for one line where I can get um Mint for $15 a month. Yeah, so the savings if I got a separate satellite phone for emergencies. Um, I don't know what the cost is. It was suggested in different articles as low as $15 a month. I mean, yeah, the savings from switching over from Verizon to Mint, yeah, it would definitely pay for that, plus some. Here are some exceptions and workarounds that I found. If your prepaid phone is a Galaxy S25 on a compatible prepaid plan, such as Verizon Prepaid, it might work, but this is rare and unconfirmed. Most reports indicate it's tied to and postpaid plans for full satellite access. Standard emergency calls, dialing 911, work on any unlocked phone without a plan, Viva cellular towers. But satellite requires the specific feature. For off-grid emergencies or prepaid budget phones, consider accessories like Motorola's Defy Satellite Link, a Bluetooth device that adds satellites SOS to any smartphone for about $150 or more. Yeah, subscription. That's a little spendy. So, in summary, if this app refers to Apple's Emergency SOS Viva Satellite, it's iPhone only and not compatible with Samsung or prepaid phones. For Android alternatives, you need a recent flagship like Galaxy S25 or Pixel 9, and even then, prepaid support is limited. For the latest on, say, my specific model or carrier, I would need to go to Settings, then go to Safety and Emergency on my device or my carrier's website. I'm gonna call them next week. Um, I believe my phone is a Samsung Galaxy Plus. Other than that, I'm really not sure about what my phone's capabilities are. But they say that Samsung's built-in SOS non-satellite that's available, it's available on most Galaxy phone regardless of prepaid status. So I'm going to look into that if I can still access it, even though I switched over to Mint. I don't know. If you have any more information about this while I'm looking into more, let me know. Put your, comments down below for those that are tech savvy. I do pretty good for my age. I'm going to be 71 next month. So I think I do pretty darn good, better than most people my age. Most people don't even know how to turn on or off their laptops or computers properly. They'll just hit the power button and switch it off without, saving all their updates and things like that. But no matter what the age, you need to keep up to date with this new technology. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please thumbs up this video. I think it's important that people know about this SOS that you can send Viva your cell phones. I did not know about that. And please share it. Yeah, share it with all your friends and family members. Once again, I think it's very important information. and subscribe because I cover all this weird stuff that I think is important. Thank you again. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you.